Morning, friends. So this video is just going to take you on a little ramble through our neighborhood here along the Bay of Kotor. We're leaving in a few days, so I just wanted to go ahead and grab it. I hope you, and rain's coming. I hope you enjoy it. Have a great day. Friends, this is my walk down. Maybe you can see that yellow building. That's where we're staying. Our balcony's up over there, and it looks across the bay, hiding behind those buildings. And I walked down here, and there you can see the bay right down there. But I wanted to show you this cool fence because it got all these neat old tools hanging on it for decoration. Got one of these in Bulgaria that I actually use. If you like old stuff, you might also appreciate this. Here's my cup. So that's what I wanted to share. There's our patio area. I've discovered that like when it's wet, it's kind of slippery down near the bottom. I don't know if you can tell the steepness. And in the interest of safety, I explored around a bit, not wanting to fall. I did fall the other day, not from slipping, but my toe caught in my cuff, and I hit the ground, not so hard, but I was like, I don't want to fall again. And I found another route, but it's going to show you. It's so pretty. The clothes hanging up. We're supposed to get rain the next couple of days, so I am going out for some adventure. But most of the countries we've traveled in, there's a lot of because they're so much older, there's a lot of places to kind of like walk between things. So I wandered down here to see if there might be another way down. And sure enough, here's someone's yard. Sure enough, right down here, just before this gate, there's this. Now, this could have been completely private, right? It would be hard to tell, but this is where my experience comes in. I wasn't certain, but I had a feeling because this comes up here, and that didn't seem to make much sense why someone at the bottom would want access to up there. It made more sense that this would be a way for more people to get down. So I've been through here lots of times now. Somebody leaves some dishes here sometimes, I think for stray animals. It's got some rainwater in it now, but I've seen that a few times. So the first time I came down, I wasn't sure I wasn't positive it was a public throughway, and I wasn't sure which way to go either. So I poked my head around here, but this dead ends. There's a couple of homes back there, it seems like, or a couple residences, I should say. I came through this way. Oh, there's a pomegranate. So this is Montenegro along the Bay of Kotor. Now, if you don't recognize what that is, that's an old well. See where I can lift the lid of it off. I believe, I'm not positive that's a well. It may be some kind of a cistern or has some other purpose, but I believe it's a well. There's a lot of them. Cool, huh? Somebody's doing some renovations here. You can see even those old doors are really cool, huh? When they make some neat old tables. And there we are. And we pop out at the bay. How beautiful is that? This is a good place to pay attention when you're walking because it's not quite 2 lanes wide. They slow down when another car comes. But we'll take a peek looking back. See that old church there. That straight ahead, those buildings are on the other side of water at the very far end. The bay comes in there, and that's the town of Kotor, K-O-T-O-R. And this is its own separate little city. I think they say it like Prčanz. It ends in an NJ, but you don't quite hear it. And this is my morning walk. I'm gonna really miss it. We leave in a little bit under a week from here. People carry their garbage down. There's more of these closer to our place, but you don't have garbage pickup at your house. You bring it to a little skip. Those folks had their mask on in their car. So I wanted to start up again and show you how incredibly clear this water is. It's not usually this choppy. There's some stronger weather coming. And we're really quite far from the sea. I haven't tasted the water to see how brackish it might be. If you're watching this and you are not a native English speaker, brackish means salty. That kind of water that has just a little bit of salt in it. And a bay is a body of water that's connected to a sea or an ocean that comes a little ways inland. This is a favorite doorway of mine because this is this incredibly beautiful door knocker. You can see, and there's another one. It has a couple of residences in there, and there's also a for sale sign up on the wall. Rush hour. It's very rare that there's this much traffic coming along here. I believe this whole building here is in a state of restoration. You can see a picture on that door over there with a shoe. I looked up to see what it meant, and it's like steel shoes. Wear steel shoes in this area. But that sign's been up there for a really long time, so I don't know when this is going to get done. But I've seen people coming in and out of this particular doorway and parking vehicles on this side over here with supplies, some workers in there working on renovation. I mean, it also appears to be connected to this next building here. And you can see one of those kinds of signs that talks about a renovation project that includes all of it. There's the public bus. It runs once an hour, going both directions. I'll be taking one of those, heading the other way in a little bit. Ryan and I are doing some separate adventures today on this clear weather. He wants to go. This is really cool too. This is like so old haunted housey looking. Look at that. And this has a lot of yard. And here you can kind of get an idea of how far the houses go up the hillside. And they don't go past that, right? It just goes a few deep along here. The mountains get pretty steep. That's true for a lot of Montenegro. It's one of those things it has in common with Switzerland. There's a lot of steep land. These are so sweet. Succulents. And these kind of little handmade looking planters with seashells and things stuck into them. People like to use those sort of organic materials here. Good grief, so many cars. I wanted to show you on this side, there's like a little private yard area that belongs to that building. But this reminds me quite a bit of plants that some of these we see in Florida. May remind you of California. Also, it gets colder here than it does in Florida, so there are more plants in common here with areas of California that I was in. It's another thing they do. I'm not sure. These might be original and cut down, but sometimes you find like slices of old palms that are used for like seating in places. So here you've got an old, cool place in pretty considerable disrepair. I like those vines growing. And then you got this one that has been really gussied up. So it's one of the things about this place is it's very hard to tell from one building to the next how old things are, because this area's been inhabited for a very, very long time. And you have all different degrees of restoration. You can see that back of that property and how it stacks up. I've seen people out there hanging out, and you can see some pallets of flagstone and rocks and things. They're going to do some more. It's lovely. And then there's a path over here, and that path might lead right up. I've run into like shepherds with goats a few times. And this shows you how tight it is, the spot. We gotta do some of that. Cool old door. There's one of those fisheye mirrors to help people kind of see a little bit around the corner. You hope they're looking at them. This house has had a lot of fancy stuff done to it. Maybe you can see there's a big outdoor wood-burning stove. It's that domed looking thing with a chimney on the top, but it doesn't look very old. And I don't know what these metal things are here on the ground, but I have a feeling that they bring some other kinds of flooring there maybe in the summertime. Maybe it's like a guest house. I don't know. You may not have ever seen this. I remember the first time I saw it was in France. But can you see there's chain link fence along the front of this building? And that's to keep, chunks of old stuff from falling on top of you, kind of like what we do with our cliffs and stuff in the States. But this old building is really beautiful, this ironwork. So you can see there's still a lot of places that people will be most certainly at some point doing things with, because this area is amazing. I've walked up that road before, up a ways. That was one of the places where I ran into a shepherd. And I haven't shown you so much this side, but most of these properties do have like their own little docks and boat slips kind of thing. Places where they can sit out. This is very much the off season. Isn't that romantic? The lace curtain billowing in the window. It's cool old windows. Let's see. Cool boat. There's so many fish in this bay. You see people out fishing quite a bit. the restaurants are compared to America. Quite affordable. We haven't splurged and gotten any of the bigger ticket items, so and fish would definitely be a higher ticket item on the menu. We may do that before we leave. I'm mostly intrigued by their dairy. It's so exciting I can eat dairy again. But you have a lot of like soft white cheeses and feta kinds of cheeses, yogurts, fairly mild, mozzarella's, soft mozzarella's. And then you've got some really pungent, like goat cheese. And the in-betweens, like the cheeses that we slice and stuff for sandwiches at home, that kind of thing. It's not that they're not available. They're on the more expensive side. I try to get more what locals get, or more the kind of traditional foods. It's one of the ways I save quite a bit on food. This is a Catholic church. I got to look in here the other day. And this is says on the map that it's a convent. I don't know if it's still a convent. I think it's kind of used for community purposes. But at this end of the building, behind that first door there on the left, there's some type of a museum in there, and it'll be something that I do before we leave. Haven't yet. This is one of my favorite parts of this walk. See the little black and white lighthouse over there. On the map it calls this, and there's a sign over there, kind of like their commercial boat area. And I think this is where people take the different paid boat rides and rent boats and that kind of thing, charters and stuff. There's different kinds of things to see around here in the bay. Beautiful, beautiful caves, like lagoon kind of things, and islands with old churches on them, and just really interesting, beautiful stuff. Nice place to just hang out. You can see it's so clean. I mean, you see very little in the way of litter. And there's lots of public garbage cans available, which is nice. This is the neighborhood post office. If you're a postcard pal and you just recently got your postcard, that's where I sent it. Girl took a really good care of me in there. And here's a sweet kitty. Good morning, kitty. Hi. This kind of shows you, it's an advertisement for the various boat rides that they do around here. See a private tour, the Blue Cave tour. For those who have that kind of budget and are interested, I'm sure they're wonderful. I'm going to take the free ferry and the €1 bus ride, and I'm very happy with that. So here is where I come in the morning. See the lady walking with the broom. She's been out here sweeping. I sit right out here, the little red checkered tablecloth over there. That's my home office most of this last month. I really love this map that they have on the wall here. It tells you two things, right? It tells you that they get a lot of tourist traffic through here in season. It's very busy with tourism. Up here you can see Kotor. I pointed that out. It's the town, down to the right here. And then if you come up around that bend, that's where we are, where it starts with the PRC, the little hat on it. That's where we are. And I've walked to Kotor a few times, about an hour walk, and I've walked around this other side. It's not marked on here where the ferry goes across, but I'm going to catch a bus here, go around there, catch the ferry across, and then catch another bus on the other side today to go up to where it says Prčanz. And for people who like cruises, there are cruise ships that come in here. I was stunned the first time I saw one because it just looked so huge, like a whale in a fish tank. But it didn't make enormous waves or anything. It went really, really slow, and it came all the way in, all the way through and it actually parked there at Kotor, and you can actually see on the map there a picture of where the ships park. And it was there for most of a day, and then another time I saw a smaller kind of a cruise ship. But there's all kinds of things. This is another really interesting place where I went to and explored. You might have seen some pictures that we did from there. Yeah, there's lots to see in the area. Americano, malo mileka, mala mileka, a little bit of milk. And I'll just show you a little bit more of this neighborhood while I got you going. This same place where we have coffee, it has like a dining room. If there's nobody in there, Ryan and I play cards in there sometimes at night. We also play cards out here on the patio. Have a beer too. I hear a car. Here's some more of those pots I was describing to you. See how they put the seashells in them? They're succulents. So sweet. And this is really impressive. And the church up there. And if you walk all the way up to this church and you go to the back side of it, you can also continue on, and there's a beautiful cemetery I did a YouTube about the other day. So I was a little bit nervous when we first got here because it seemed that the commerce was very sparse, and it's harder to enjoy yourself if you don't have access to basics. But wherever there's people living, you're usually going to find somebody filling that need within walking distance we found in our travels. So this is like the little neighborhood bakery. She's asked that I not take pictures in there, so I won't. But it's a cool place. Except for that unfriendliness. This is the little grocery store where I come and get basic things. I'm not going to go in there because I don't want to put on my mask. You can see it has some basic produce. It's hard for some of the produce is local, but most of it is not. Most of it's brought in from at least Serbia. Montenegro doesn't grow very much of their own produce commercially. They do have quite a bit of stuff grown in their yards and home gardens and things in some places. Here you can see some kind of a fish net operation, huh? And that's the sunrise that I watched. I hope you enjoyed this little rambling around. You have a wonderful day, friends. Bye-bye. So, friends, I know that one of the most intimidating things about traveling is the language. So I just thought I'd share a little bit more about this part of things, because this particular restaurant deals with a lot of tourists, and they're like really, really nice and really accommodating. They've got multiple menus. They have an English version, they have a Russian version, and then they have their own language. So I usually use the one that's in their language because it's fun for me. It's part of the adventure and to try to learn. And I love this one because it has a picture right on the front of these places that we just walked by in the video. I'll actually come over here to the English one. That makes more sense, huh? To show you, give you an idea. So this particular restaurant menu for Café Centaur, so that means like a cafe in the center of the village. The bus stops right out here going both ways. There's a little pub across the street. There's like a gambling kind of a place, for sport bookings. This is really and the post office is next door. It's really the heart of the village right here. But you've got alcoholic beverages. Maybe you can see what some of the choices are. Notice that this L and those numbers, that's to tell you the quantity. Okay, so that's basically like a shot. And then the price per shot. And how they do it in a lot of these countries is you order your liquor and your mixer separate, and you mix them. And here you've got various wines and beers. And then very popular here because this was occupied by the Ottomans a period of time ago, right? Turkish coffee that has a little bit of grounds on the bottom of it is very popular. They also have espresso. I get what's called an Americano, which is kind of like a long espresso, I think, with some added hot water to it. Nescafe, I believe that's instant coffee, which is also quite popular. And you've got your pizzas. These prices are in euro, and right now a euro is about $1.22 or something like that. So you can see those prices. Ryan got the capricota last night. It's a really good sized portion for a single person. 2 people could eat it pretty easily. Pancakes, these are like crepes. They're calling them pancakes, but they're like crepes, and they're really very nice. Some big sandwiches. That's just to give you an idea. And then back here they also have lots of other dishes which look really good. I've seen the plates coming out. They're just a little outside of our budget. But they've got that at the top where it says SNICLE, that means schnitzel. So it's kind of, you say it phonetically. So Wiener Schnitzel, Ei filet, that's probably some kind of a steak, right? And they've got hamburgers. See the prices. These are their breakfast items. This menu is pretty consistent with most menus as far as the items on it. It's more extensive, but you see a lot of the same choices. Can you see on the salads, the second one that says like srpska salad? That means like a Serbian salad. And then shopska salad, that's the one that we became familiar with in Bulgaria. Yum, yum. Quite good. So there's your menu. Thought you might enjoy a little insight with that. Ciao, ciao.